Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session for the SHINE 2021 conference. This session is going to deal with citation management for the novice researcher, and our presenter for this session is Stella Seal. She's the lead informationist at Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing, Hospital, and Health System Services. So welcome, Stella.
Thank you, Vicki, for that lovely introduction. I'm happy to be here.
To begin, what can you tell us about citation management?
Well, citation management tools are a means of, hello there, there we go. Citation management programs tools, they're resources, software programs that allow you to put all of your references that you're using for papers and other projects to store them in one virtual place. We all probably have stacks of articles all over the place. And when we're working on a paper, folders, articles in this folder, articles in that folder, and it can be challenging keeping track of them and knowing where they are.
Definitely.
So Citation Manager has all of this generally online. Most of these citation softwares are cloud-based. There are one or two that are desktop-based, but it puts it all in one place. It's not a physical space. So you can, and then within these sources, these citation managers, you can bring in references from different places. So you can do a search in Medline and import the references, do a search in CINAHL and import the references. You find a website you like, you can use the browser plugin that's frequently available for this software and say, hey, I want to put this information from this site, this website, into my citation manager because I'm going to cite it downstream. Many of these software packages allow you to actually import PDFs, and then you can, so you've got the articles right there. So you can toss the paper if you want to. In some instances, you can even mark up on that PDF. So if you write notes on your printouts, you can do that in some of the software programs, but not others. All of them have some sort of integration with word processing software, which allows you, when you're typing up your paper or your document in Word, and you say, okay, this is where I'm going to cite Susan Smith. And you can go to the software, say, I'm going to put a citation for Susan Smith in here, and then keep writing and go and do it, cite at the end. And then when you get to the end, you tell the software, okay, format this paper in the format citation style that you need. APA, AMA, Turabian, Journal of the American Medical Association. Bam, puts it right there. A lot less work for you, so that you as a writer don't have, how do I do that in APA? And what's it look like in AMA? And frequently these tools allow you to work with teams. So you can have teams working in them. So they're nice tools for collaboration.
So what exactly are citation management tools?
You mean the more common ones?
Yeah, tell me which of the more popular tools, which ones do people favor, I think?
Yeah, sure. There are 4 tools that are probably the most well-known, all of which are used by groups of folks here at Hopkins. The first is called RefWorks. And this tool, this resource is free to all Hopkins users because Hopkins IT pays the subscription for it. So if you've got a JED username and password, you have access to RefWorks. You can get to RefWorks from the Welch Library. When you go to the Welch Library homepage, if you scroll down in the lower left-hand corner of the white section, there's research tools. The section says research tools, and the link to RefWorks is there. I recommend using ProQuest RefWorks, not Legacy. Then there's EndNote, which is available in 2 different versions. One is a free version of EndNote. It's accessible on the web. You don't need to be affiliated with Hopkins. You can create an EndNote account with any email address that you would like to have associated with it. And you have access to many of the features of EndNote. There's a few you don't, but you got access to much of them. But then there's also EndNote, what I often refer to as EndNote Full Feature. And that is available either on web or desktop versions. Now, if you use a desktop version, you can't collaborate your data that's on your desktop with other users. But if you're using the web version, then you can use that to collaborate. Now, it is a one-time fee. There is a discount for purchase for Hopkins affiliates. You can always contact me for information about how to find where to purchase the discounted version of EndNote. I think the discounted price is around $150 to $200. It's a one-time purchase unless you want to upgrade to the newest and latest and greatest version. Then there's Zotero. Zotero, to start with, is a free resource. It's open source software, so there's always a group of people out there sort of working on developing it. As you can see from this slide, you have up to 300 megabytes of data that you can use freely. If you get to having larger sets and more, you need more data and space than that, there is at that point going to be a fee, depends on how much. And as you can see here, $20 for 2 gigabytes, and that's $20 a year for 2 gigabytes of space, $60 for 6 gigabytes. And then if you really want to go whole hog, you can pay $120 for unlimited storage. And the last resource is Mendeley. Mendeley was originally a standalone outside product. It is now owned by Elsevier. Elsevier allows you to have up to 2 gigabytes of space. So it's a lot more space than you have available to you in Zotero. Like Zotero and RefWorks, this is a web-based, cloud-based product, so you can access these resources anywhere. If you wind up needing more than 2 gigabytes of space, as you can see, they use a monthly fee model. So they're $5 a month for 5 gigabytes of space, which means we're working out the $60 a year for 5 gigabytes, $120 for 10 gigabytes, and then $15 a month again if you've got really big, huge projects with lots of collaboration that you need.
That's amazing. That's a lot of choices I have. Can you help me if I were trying to decide which one I wanted? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the different tools?
Excellent question. And I just happen to have a lovely tool for that.
Beautiful.
And I also have there we go. Okay, so we have this chart, and this chart is available on the Welch Library website in our library guide that talks about citation managers. And this chart is comparing RefWorks, EndNote, EndNote Basic. And by EndNote, we're talking full feature, either web or desktop version, EndNote Basic, Mendeley, and Zotero. So as you can see, it compares the costs and shows all that cost information that I just talked about, talks about access. And as you can see, all of them are available on the web. EndNote and Mendeley and Zotero also have desktop applications. All of them have some form of mobile access. They all have an app. All of them allow for some form of collaboration. Notice that with the full-featured EndNote, the collaboration is only available with the versions X8 and later. If you were buying EndNote brand new, it's X20, so you don't have to worry, or actually the EndNote 20, which would be double X. So you would get that collaboration. As you can see, RefWorks and EndNote Basic do not allow for any PDF markup, but EndNote Full Feature, Mendeley, and Zotero do. All of them allow for exporting from databases. Not all of them allow to export from the web. As you can see, only RefWorks, Mendeley, and Zotero have a plugin that allows you to pull references from the web. They all have some sort of integration with word processing, a couple of them with cute little names like Write and Cite and Cite while you write. And in all cases, it's a plugin that gets added to your Microsoft Word. And for some of them, you can use them within Google Docs. So strengths and weaknesses. RefWorks, its biggest strength is it's really easy to use. It allows for collaboration, and it's totally free to you as a Hopkins staff member. For EndNote Basic, it's easy to use. It's good for collaboration. It allows for collaboration. EndNote is its biggest is full-featured EndNote is the amount of storage. If you're buying EndNote Web, I don't know if there are any particular limits on storage. If you're using EndNote Desktop, you're limited only by how much space you have on your desktop for the size of your files. You can do bulk downloads of PDFs into EndNote as long as you have your proper institutional credentials. And EndNote is probably the best of all these softwares when it comes to running deduplication. And deduplication is really important because one of the reasons you're using software like this is you've done searches in multiple databases, you've imported into the software the references from all of those databases. Guarantee you're going to have duplicate references. So you want this software to remove the duplicates. They all have duplicate removal feature. EndNotes is particularly strong. Mendeley, drag and drop. So they've gone really good into the drag and drop. They've got a nice web importer function. They do allow import of PDFs, but it's only one reference at a time. Zotero has nice web features. It matches the metadata to the PDFs. And a lot of people like the interface for Zotero. I will admit to having a Zotero account, but not really using it often. I have a Mendeley account. Mendeley and I don't get along, but I have been able to successfully use it on occasion. RefWorks and EndNote are the two I tend to use the most, and I bounce between them. Their limitations. RefWorks' biggest limitation is you can only import 500 references at a time. So if you find yourself routinely working on projects that have large downloads of references from databases, you will want to consider moving from RefWorks into another software package, EndNote, Mendeley, or Zotero. It also has limited PDF storage, so you don't have unlimited storage, even though it's a cloud-based product. And it's very limited. You only have one way to remove, two at most ways to remove duplicates. So there's not a lot of deduplication ability. It's got a basic ability, but it's not as full-featured as in other software packages. EndNote Basic, you can't do bulk downloads. You can't share PDFs, again, because it's free and online, you still have limited storage. And then the biggest downloads for Mendeley and Zotero is if you need that larger storage, you have access to it, but it's going to cost you money, and it's going to cost you money on a regular repeating basis.
Well, that sounds like that will be really helpful as I try to make my decision about which platform to use. Do you know of any training that I could get to help me to learn to use whichever platform I choose?
Absolutely. Training is so important because, well, even the ease of use, sometimes you find you've got questions and you need to know where to go. So on the library website and at this web address, browse.jhmi.edu/citation management, this is the page that has links to information for the citation managers I've talked about. And we have a video that's been recorded by some of my colleagues on using RefWorks, specific to using RefWorks within the Hopkins interface. But we also provide links to the ProQuest RefWorks YouTube page, or their guides page, which then also has a YouTube channel, because they've got some very nice materials that they've put together. We also have links to the on-site help for EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero. All of them, in addition to having some sort of PDF or print resource, have a YouTube channel, and their YouTube videos are generally, no more than about 10 minutes or so, and geared around a particular topic. So if you like watching YouTube videos, you have access to those. If you prefer printed type of material, myself, I'm more a printed person. I tend to download those and read those or print them out as I need them. But you do have options, and there's lots of training there. The Welch Library, we also offer classes in using RefWorks, both the legacy and the ProQuest version. We also do some EndNote training, and I think it's on the full-featured EndNote, but we may also have some on EndNote Basic. Occasionally, we have training on Mendeley and Zotero. That depends more on how many of our staff use it more commonly, and if they have time in their schedule to offer training for that. But all of us are familiar with all of these packages.
That sounds wonderful. It sounds like we have lots of options for managing our citations and getting the training and support we need to really do it well. So thank you very much for this presentation. Quite helpful.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And if just as for more information, to find myself or my colleagues, you can click on the link on this page, Informationists. You can search by Informationist, either by your department. So if you are a nurse in surgery, you can search for surgery, or you can search by your area. If you're from Howard County or suburban or all children, you can go down there to find out who of the Welch Informationist staff is basically assigned overall for assistance. We have a number of research guides, one of which being our Citation Manager guide. The link is also on this page, as well as other places to go for help within the library.
Thank you. That's
Oh, you're
amazing.
welcome. And thank you very much for this opportunity to chat.